Welcome back to Learn Palmistry with Mary. My name is Mary English, and we have been covering a few introductory lessons to palmistry. Lesson 1 was the thumb, lesson 2 was handprints, lesson 3 was the fingers, lesson 4 was the heart and head line, lesson 5 was the lifeline and the fate line, and then the last lesson, number 6, we did mounts, and today we're doing the last few what they call minor lines, as if such a thing could be minor. Now I can't hear a flipping thing of what I'm saying, but hey, we'll manage. So everybody wants to know if they're going to get married. You want to know that in your hand, don't you? Yes. Let me see if I've got a decent marriage line in any of my examples. Have I got written on it? Oh, Goldie never got married. Yes, we've got a decent marriage line on there, and she definitely was married. And we need to compare with this, and I don't think she got divorced. I'll share that one. Now then, this. Oh no, we don't want to put that. It's too depressing. I'm always looking at handprints and going, don't want to look at that. Okay, so we'll do the marriage line first. Now, remembering, of course, that when you're reading your own hand, reading somebody else's hand, don't lose the plot because you've found something that you don't like the look of or whatever. Never take something, point with my pencil, never take something in isolation. Always take something holistically, all of the hand, not just one bit of it. So many people, it's the same thing when they start learning astrology. It's like, oh, I've got Chiron in the sign of Cancer in my 3rd house. Does that mean I'm never going to have babies or something stupid like that? Which it doesn't mean that anyway. And it's like, no, you need to look at all of the hand, all of the chart, everything. You can hone in on a few things, go, oh, that's a bit weird. What can I do to improve that if it's something that needs improving? So if, for instance, you had nice, healthy, everything was fantastic in your hands, and you had no marriage line, that doesn't mean to say that you will never marry. Okay, that just isn't how it works. What it means is, if you don't have a marriage line, which is not totally rare, and I have got some weird examples, but I don't know if I want to share them. If you don't have a marriage line, it would be that marriage isn't important to you. Maybe you want to live with whoever it is and not get married. Maybe you want to have a harem. Who knows? Most people have marriage lines, so here we go. This person's hand here, and she is female because it tells us so. This is the pinky finger, baby finger here. This is the heart line, okay? This is the marriage line, so I'll just hold that up. So we got it, there we go, nice. Now, unfortunately, in this person's case, we've got an influence line coming out here. So something went on before the marriage happened, because time-wise, time goes like this on this side of the hand here. If you're going to be measuring time, and I ain't going into that, you're going to have to read some books about it. But this person's marriage line is halfway between these two bits here. So it should be halfway between the heart line and the joint of the pinky finger digit. That's where most people's marriage line is. And I will show you the differences of books. They're quite depressing, some of them. This particular lady had this whopping line going, and so this is prior to her getting married. And something drastic happened to some previous partner. And you can't see this because you'd have to look ever so close. Okay? But there's 2 extra, oh, I don't know if I can get that into focus. There's 2 extra lines before that, so I'll just describe it to you. So we've got the marriage line here, and there are 2 very, very faint little bibbly lines there. So 2 of her previous boyfriends, they were only boyfriends. Mummy and Daddy didn't like them at all, and as you can see, this influence line, she was so invisible. Oh, Mummy and Daddy didn't like my boyfriends. She could dump them, so she dumped them. And then she hit luck and she found somebody that not only she liked, but the parents liked as well. So you need to take that into account. Also, how long the marriage line is how much of an influence that person will make. If you've got a little tiddly widdly one, hers isn't very big, a little tiddly widdly marriage line, then you're not going to be particularly influenced by your marriage partner, and it's like, okay, I'm married, now what? There is a way to read babies. Babies are little lines that rise up off the marriage line, but I haven't done any research in it. There are other ways of reading babies, which I think is much more accurate. So you've got your lifeline going around like that, and baby lines are the lines that rise up vertically off the lifeline. And in fact, I didn't mention when I was doing the lifeline, this person hasn't got any, but you can see past, like this lady has, you can see past lives, and past lives are lines that come all the way through from here, okay, Mount Venus, remember that was last week, little tiddly widdly widdly lines come all the way through the lifeline, through the headline, all the way across the hand, and they go horizontally-ish, because they can't go completely horizontally, otherwise that would just look weird, but they come across like that. And this particular lady has had at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. She's got 18 lines going through her lifeline. She's been on the planet before. She is a very old soul. I mean, this is the lady with the nervous disposition that I used her handprints in one of the earlier lessons. So the print will still be hanging about somewhere on my Facebook page. But all of these horizontal lines as opposed to vertical lines coming up, influence lines, generally speaking, represent the babbies that you have. Nothing will ever influence you as much as having a babby. Trust me on that. Sometimes it could be, the rising lines could be a bloke. This lady here, whose name I have got written, I don't want to say her name, but she's no longer with us because this is a long time ago, this is the 70s, and she was getting on a bit then. Did marry, didn't have children. There's nothing rising up of her marriage line. There's nothing rising up of her lifeline. Now, it's not to say that you've got that and you will never have children. It's just that you're less likely to, because lines that rise up off the lifeline are influence lines. So, marriage line, awful opposition from the parents, outside influence. I mean, it didn't say on this line here, mummy and daddy. It's just that we just know that it's an influence line. So something influenced the two prior relationships that she had before she hit right with Mr. Right. Now, let me grab my hands. I'm divorced. I was reading hands before I divorced. So, let's see if we can get this into... Because A, you've got to be able to see it. B, I've got to be able to see it too. So this is the little tiddly marriage line here. Oh my lord, it's just, I don't know if you can even see it. It's as small can be. Where are we now? Can I get that? Come on, focus. Shouting as it doesn't help. So I go in and I've got to move my head. There we go. Right. Okay, you can see there are two marriage lines. I'm on my second marriage, yeah. But the first one ends in a fork like this, which does indicate divorce. And of course, I went into that marriage with my eyes wide open, knowing that got in my hand. And I was completely blown away and unexpected when it did happen. Not only that, but in my marriage line, so going through it, a lot of lines that come down through it. So it's not me going to have millions of babies, because babies are... Let me draw it for you. So imagine that's your... See, keep hitting the microphone. This is the marriage line here, and baby lines would be like this, rising up off this. These aren't baby lines that I've got on my hand. They're not like that. They're lines that come and cross through it, going down vertically through my marriage line. There wasn't so much an opposition to me getting married. And nobody objected. My dad had already died anyway, so he wasn't alive. And my mum's only comment when I told her that I was going to be married was, oh, well, at least it'll make it legal, because I was living with with the man concerned at that point in time. But there are a lot of lines coming down. So there was some sort of family opposition or disagreement within the family unit. And actually that was because my ex-husband's parents were divorced when I met him. They got divorced pretty early. I think he was 13 when they got divorced. And the parents of my ex-husband, they were not married, they were separated, they both had new partners, and there was a lot of animosity between that side of the family, which obviously would be affecting my existence because it turns up in my hand. So their marriage impacted me enough for it to turn up in my hands. Yeah, so I heard all of the stories about what happened and who did this and who did that. Okay, so marriage line. Marriage line is a little tin. Don't get confused with a heart line. Heart line goes whoop. Marriage line is just a little teeny weeny horizontal line going underneath the finger. The higher up they are, the I've not ever met anybody who got married at 14 or 16 or whatever. I think in America people can. In the UK it's absolutely illegal. And it doesn't always indicate marriage. You could have a marriage line and not be legally married. But the fact that you have a marriage line means that the being in a close personal relationship is important. Yeah. So your marriage line can go all over the place, do lots of different things, go up, go down, do this, do that. And I haven't got time to, and I'm not going to either, otherwise you'll be able to do it all yourself and you won't even want to come for a reading. Okay, so that's marriage time. Now there are lots of other little fellas. Oh yes, that was what I was talking about in the first lesson. That let me just turn off my emails because it's just going to keep coming across the screen and distractifying me. Thank you. This finger here, as we've discussed, is called Apollo, and he's to do with creativity. Underneath him, this whopper of a line here, showing up rather strongly at the moment. It doesn't actually look like that. Well, actually it does. There we go. It's pretty strong. It's a money line. And the stronger it is, and the more it turns up as a nice thing in your hand, then the better your finances are. Now, mine's not always been like that. And I've got to tell you something funny. Since we've had the lockdown, I have been absolutely crazy busy. I'm not too sure why. I don't know why all of a sudden the demand for the services that I provide has happened. It may be because I already work online, so that's not something new. I've worked online for yonks, but I can't see clients face to face, so all my clients are seeing me online, and a lot of people are anxious, so they're coming for homeopathic consultations. Also, I've done a lot of hypnotherapy online as well, and again, you're not going to be able to get out to a therapist, so you're going to want to find one that can operate online. So in my case, my line of Apollo, so check yours out. Finances are so important. I don't care what anybody says, so, oh, I can manage without money. No, you can't. Sorry, don't care if you're a millionaire, you can't manage without it. It's important. Got to pay for your shopping. But in my case, at the moment, money is not an issue. Praise the Lord. Thank you. Yeah. So have a look and see what lines. Now, I don't have it anymore, but I did have it. So if I was to dig out from, I've got a file there of all my handprints going back to the year 1978. If I was to dig out my original handprints that I took in, I don't remember what colour I did them. I think I did them black on white. My line of Apollo, my money line, was atrocious. It was faint and it had a whopper of a line going through it. I spent it quicker than I earned it. This is back in the day when I was ever so young. So the money was coming in. I've always had a job. I've never been unemployed, but there was a whopping line going through it. So you need to remember that line's coming up. That's the Apollo line. Anything going horizontally through it, or even an angle going through it, and there will be, I think we've been talking to Rachel quite a bit, that check yours. The lines don't necessarily have to be horizontal, but they need to be going through it in some way. And each one of those lines will represent either some major financial commitment that you have, okay, that's eating into your finances, or a debt. Okay, so I love finding debt in people's hands because they don't know that I'll know, and I'll go, have you managed to pay off your debt yet? And they'll go, I can see the blinking. How did you know? It's like, did I Google it? No, I didn't Google it. It's in your hand. Okay, so check your mates out, the ones you know that are terribly in debt, and see what lines they've got going through their line of Apollo. They might not even have a line of Apollo. Their finances might be so bad. Now, funnily enough, I really want to get my sister's hands out. Anyway, she never had a job and lived, my mother provided for her, my Down syndrome sister, my younger sister, all her life, until I started to care for them when they both got dementia and they couldn't manage. And I ran a care package for them, basically, and I got her proper funding that she was entitled to. She did get a small benefit that she was done, but I've got benefits training. And so I made sure that she got all the benefits she was entitled to be able to pay for her care. And she has the most wonderful line of Apollo. So she didn't earn her money through work, but money was coming in. So do check out finances. Now, this lady here, sorry to keep bashing the microphone, her finances were fine. Yep, look at that. Nice, healthy. There's only, at the top it sort of goes into a funny fork, but that wouldn't be an issue. This lady is poverty stricken, okay? She's actually not printed very well there. So we would have had the discussion about dosh, okay? There's no line under there. In fact, all she's got is a line going horizontally, nothing coming in. Let's give you some other examples. Oh yes, okay, so I think this, oh God, I get my hands confused. This was a chappie. I mean, I say was because I haven't met these people since. He ought to still be alive, this man. Oh, yes, okay. Right. Not a big earner. Okay, I actually need to fold that over the top so you can't see the name. I probably didn't do that in an earlier session. But here he is. Okay, so we've got, this is the finger of Apollo. Okay, we've got underneath there, so if I get up to the, we can, there's no line there. There's a whole smidgen of, oh for goodness sakes, camera. Do the decent thing. Actually, there's not enough light on it either. What he's got there, so let me draw it for you. He really was financially, I don't even know how he managed to afford. I don't think he was a client. If I seem to remember rightly, he was somebody that I worked with. But this is exactly what it looks like under that finger there. Okay. No one line. Okay. 3 tiddly widdly lines, like that you couldn't get any shorter, and then this broken line going through it. This was someone that just didn't, this is probably what mine used to look like, had no idea about finances whatsoever. I think that was one of the reasons why I came for a reading. Who else have we got? Oh, goodness, why have I got so many men with bad finances? Luckily I wasn't dating them. I honestly don't know. I think I know whose hands this is. Have we got it on there? Oh, yes. Okay. Sorry to laugh. This guy was an artist. Okay, so there we go. If that isn't a classic example of an artist's hands. This is your starving in the garret hand. Oh, come on now. These are such lovely plinths. You should be able to see them. Just sticking my head in there doesn't do anything. Makes the camera go out of focus. There we go. Right. See this? All he has underneath his finger of Apollo is horizontal lines. And in fact, what he has got, so this is another minor line. Can you see? Let's see if I can get that to focus again. Can you see this set of lines under these two fingers here? So the middle two fingers, middle two digits. Well, actually they are. The two fingers are in the middle. This is called a Girdle of Venus. And a Girdle of Venus, Venus is a goddess of love, but a Girdle of Venus is not a marvellous thing to have. It's somebody that's very passionate about stuff. However, what I always recommend with somebody who's got a Girdle of Venus is don't put that passion into a close personal relationship. You'll fry the other person to bits. Use it creatively, which is what this particular person did. But trust me, he was as poor. And he didn't have to be poor, but he just was incapable earning money from the creativity that he had. I'll just make sure I keep his name covered there, but that's his other hand there. It's not much better as far as money goes. Yeah, creativity is. Get up to the camera. There we go. It's just a load of crosses. There's no. You want to have this. Look at that. Look. Yes. Trust me, I'm not earning millions because I don't charge millions, but I am comfortable. So that's marriage line of Apollo. There are other things, line of Magic. I'm not going to go into those because this is just an introduction, but I did mention earlier, if you want to see what a psychic cross looks like, oopsie, there he is. So that's a psychic cross. I've got one line horizontal and there's the vertical. So that's what a psychic cross looks like. I've only got it in my left hand. I don't have it in my right. My hands are so different, but it means that I was born with that. It's an innate ability, and obviously it's a bit of a one on my right hand. I've made, there we go, made a bit of a living doing it. I'm not on the telly reading your mind, worrying when am I going to shut up. So I hope you've enjoyed this little introduction to palmistry. My name's Mary Inch. You'll find me at maryinch.com, maryinch.co.uk and UK Astrologer. I do online sessions, and I do a psychic reading online where it involves astrology and cards. If you were coming face to face, it would involve me actually taking your handprints and doing palmistry. But if you want a palm reading, then just let me know. I don't advertise it per se on my website because you just get too many nutters getting in contact. And we'd have to have you taking photographs of your hands or using the scanner. And I'd need to speak to you and see how you use your hands. So I hope you have a wonderful lockdown. And hopefully at some point in the future when we're out lockdown, I'll meet you in the flesh. Okay, bye-bye now.